Welcome on the journey to transform culture. I'm Steve, and I'll be your guide. Well, folks, today let's talk a little bit about advocate and detractor. If you work in, for, or own an organization of any type, really, it could be anything, where there's at least one of you or more, um, you should automatically be an advocate for your customer, right? Customer has requirements or needs, and it is your mission, right, to fulfill those, to meet those needs, and to meet those obligations and those requirements. And in doing so, you're an advocate. But it goes deeper than that, right? As it always does, right? In organizations, we have often many layers of levels of leadership, teams, department heads, you name it, functional leaders, all of that, engineering, all of it. It can be vast. You can have all kinds of segments, right? But in the interaction between all of these, say, departments, we'll use departments just to keep it easy for now. In the interaction, what often can be lost is our one-to-one conscious awareness that we are at all times advocates for the customer, right? And we've talked about who the customer is before in previous videos, but being an advocate. So to keep it simple, you're in two tracks. You are either consciously always pretty much got a hum of I'm an advocate for the customer. I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm saying what I'm saying now because I'm an advocate for the customer, right? For that greater good, for the outcome for the customer. And so in all your decision making, your communications, and all your organizing, and all of your problem solving and continuous improvement and innovation, all of this stuff, creativity, it is all driven under the guise of being an advocate for the customer. Now, this might seem pretty obvious until you start getting into the day to day and people start getting a little tired, right? A little fatigued, a little worn down. And typically, some of the first things to go is our conscious awareness of our, being present in the moment, communication. Our body language could be negative or a little spicy. Let's just call it that. We're human beings. We're not always 110%. Obviously, you want to strive to be your best at all the times. But we know that we fluctuate, right? We're as variable as everything else in the universe. The sun rises, the sun sets. Energy goes up, temperature goes down. Everything is in a variable wave. Everything is a wave, right? Energy and mass. Really, probably just energy. But let's not get into those weeds right now. But the bottom line is that you're not always going to be 110% all the time. So it's even more important to have in your conscious awareness that you are at all times an advocate for the customer. So if you're treating employees poorly, or if you're taking them for granted, or you're not engaging and you're not doing all the appropriate things to help build and develop your team, if you're letting them stagnate, all of these things, you may not think of it one-to-one with, I am not an advocate for the customer. But what's happening is that there's this slow erosion. Your advocacy is being eroded. And at a certain point, really at any point, as it erodes, this is another reason why we have to keep it in our conscious awareness. As it erodes down, 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 then what can happen is we get, apathy sets in, right? And this is when people can become detractors. Now, here's the difficulty. You're also an advocate for the customers in your life and in your community. You're an advocate for your civic organizations, your religious institutions, your family, your friends, your people down the block or in the community, right? So you're also an advocate, and they are also your customer, and you are theirs. So at all times, we're always an advocate. Really, if you think about it, I mean, that's kind of our, that's the line of protecting love that I talk about in the book, right? Is that in everything you do, all your decisions, all your interactions, am I protecting love? Am I an advocate for the customer, right? If you want to put it in a little more sterile terms, am I being an advocate for the customer, for that better outcome? Or am I being a detractor? Am I being someone who is not, focused on the customer, does not have the customer as the priority? Now you got to keep in mind you have yourself to, you can't throw yourself out because there's self-care. You have to get the appropriate sleep and recharge and take time and and do the things you need to do. Stay fit, stay healthy, keep the nutrients healthy, and all these good things. So there's things you need to do and decompress, maybe a little distraction, a little recreation, whatever, right? All these things. Stay hydrated. That's a significant one. But and in doing those things, guess what? You are not only taking care of yourself, because you are, but you're also taking care of the customer. And you're being an advocate for the people in your life who are essentially your customers, right? And that's how you protect love. I mean, it's pretty simple, really, if you think about it. But it's not so simple when we get kind of dinged and nudged and bumped around in the product of your day. You're stuck in traffic, somebody cuts you off, somebody says this to you sideways, etc. And you can see how those negative dominoes, I always talk at the end of the videos about the good dominoes. Well, there's the dark side of that, the negative dominoes. Somebody comes in to kind of push your buttons and whatever. And that is when we're tested. In those moments, am I an advocate or am I a detractor? Because if I'm an advocate, I'm going to do the things that I need to do to make sure that the outcome is appropriate, positive, and there's a good outcome. If I'm a detractor, just the opposite, right? Most people are not overtly going out there and approaching things with the mindset of, I'm going to be a detractor. I'm going to be somebody who's divisive, spread rumors, defame other people's personalities, all these things. That is not typically in most people's conscious desire. What happens is you get tired, you get fatigued, you get off track, and you lose focus on your purpose, which is to be an advocate for the customer, whether that be professionally or personally. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So remember, you've got two choices always. You're either an advocate or you're a detractor. And if you're a detractor, you're pushing all those negative, we'll say those fiery red hot dominoes that are not helping people and creating chaos and so forth, and drama and toxicity and all these other things. If you're an advocate, you're pushing those good green dominoes, and those are helping people. Those are building cohesion. Those are building your engagement. These are providing you the results that you want to achieve. And we're not perfect. There isn't a perfection. This is why it's always an effort. Every day it's waking up and in your conscious mind. Today I'm an advocate. Today I'm an advocate. Who am I an advocate for? If you're a leader, you're an advocate for your team, right? Because your team's also a customer, right? They're not necessarily your primary work customer, but they are a customer of yours that you provide resources, guidance, tutelage, mentoring, coaching, all these things. And this is what you want to be driving and striving for. And if you can kind of keep it simplified in that bucket, it might make it a little easier to deal with, when the toxic, dramatic things do occur. Just stop, slow down, take a breath, maybe 3 or 4 or 5. That whole count to 10 thing. And think to yourself, how can I become an advocate in this situation to find the greater good on the other side of this dramatic or toxic situation? All right, folks, just wanted to touch base with you today about being an advocate and what, the converse of that is being a detractor. We don't want to be a detractor. We want to be an advocate. We're not going to be perfect at it, but we want to be in the striving to do and be that way. And when we do that, we're protecting love. And that's also another way we hit that good domino 3 to 5 times a day at least, right? You can do it more, obviously, but consciously, so that we can uplift, inspire, motivate, and encourage other people. And when we do that, not only are we transforming culture, we're transforming people's lives. And then that also transforms our own life. And that's an important thing. All right, folks, until next time, hit like, share, and subscribe. Look forward to talking to you. Take care and have a wonderful day.